proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, Detective Roberts, are you familiar with the search warrant that was prepared in this case? One of the names on it was Eric Daniel Salter. Can you see that?
Are you asking me if I'm familiar with the search warrant or the name?
Both.
Oh, okay. I'd have to look at the face sheet of the search warrant just to see which one it is.
I believe it was at the time of the arrest, or am I mistaken?
Okay. Ramey warrant, new residence. Okay. Yes, I'm familiar with both.
Okay. And in the affidavit for the search warrant of Mr. Salter, it refers to approximately 624 communications between Mr. Baker and Mr. Salter. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that accurately reflect the number of calls between Mr. Salter and Mr. Baker that was determined by LAPD in the course of this investigation.
Yes,
And it was one of the reasons why the search warrant was issued for Mr. Salter, correct?
Your Honor, can we approach?
Yes.
Thank you. So did the search warrant accurately reflect the affidavit, the number of calls between Mr. Baker and Mr. Salter as the third most frequent caller from January 3, 2016 through February 1, 2017 involving Mr. Baker?
Objection, hearsay.
right. I didn't write the search warrant, and I didn't verify that, but I have no reason to believe that it would be correct information.
Well, the search warrant affidavit is signed under penalty of perjury, correct?
Correct.
By one of the detectives or officers involved in this investigation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And to just make sure the record's clear, Mr. Salter was eliminated as any possible suspect in this case based on all the evidence in this case, correct?
Correct.
But the number of calls is accurate, correct? As far as you know.
As far as I know.
Okay. When you took over the investigation of this case, did you review the chronological record that had been prepared by the detectives that preceded you?
I did.
And is that commonly called the murder book? Or not?
The chrono.
Or is
the
it
chrono?
part of the murder book?
The chrono is part of the murder book.
Can
yes.
you tell us briefly what a chron record is?
It's typically a record of significant things that were done during an investigation. Some detectives like to put everything in a chrono, and some detectives prefer to just put things that were significant to them that they want to remember later. It's up to the individual detective how extensive the chronological record is.
But as far as you know, does the chronological record accurately reflect what was done by the detectives involved in the investigation of this case?
Well, I'm going to object. I would assume facts not in evidence and self-speculation.
Sustained.
Well, you participated in the preparation of chronological records, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Of my cases, yes.
Well, this is one of your cases, correct?
Yes, I completed a chrono for the work that I did on the case.
And at the time that you took over, there was a chron record of the work that had been done previously, correct?
There was one that was completed by the detectives from Valley Bureau, and there was another one that was completed by detectives Gable and Tellis.
All right, I'm showing you what's called labeled a chronological record, and it's got the date of 2/21/17 on it. Do you see that?
Yes.
Do you know who prepared that?
It would be helpful if I had the second page to this.
Okay. I think I can produce that for you in a few seconds. wanted to just refresh your memory on the computer.
Sure.
If you could review that,
Okay.
tell me if that refreshes your memory as to.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the following question. She hasn't said she needs her memory.
She said it would help if she could view it. I think that's a requirement.
Okay. This chrono is not prepared the way I would normally do it, in that I do mine in the first person, so you know, if I personally did something, I say I did it. And typically detectives will do that, or at the end of their log entry, they'll put their initials and serial number. So I'm not sure if Parshall or Verna did this entry.
But it was one of them.
I can't say. I can't say that. I would assume that it would be them because it's their chrono, but I can't say for sure that it was, because they don't indicate that they're the persons that made this entry.
So that means you would not rely on anything that is in that chron log?
I would verify it with Parshall and Verna if I had a question about this, if this was something that that was significant and something that I needed, information I needed, and it was going to be something that I testified to, I would have reached out to Parshall, which of course now we couldn't, or Detective Verna to clarify this information.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever verify that any of the items, any of the information, which is, how many pages are there for the entry of February 17, 2017?
I did not reach out to them and ask them who completed this chrono entry.
Did you accept it as accurate?
Your Honor, I object at this point. It's irrelevant.
Sustained.
Did you rely on it at all in continuing your investigation?
I would need to read the entire entry just to make sure.
Would you do so?
Sure.
Thank you. You can tell me anything on there that you believe is inaccurate.
I'm going to object that it calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Well, let's start at the beginning. It says Marshall and Verna met.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this as well. Reading from the record.
That's correct. Sustained. The last question remains unanswered, which is, would you rely on this? That's when Detective Roberts said, I'd like to read the whole thing. And that's where we left it.
You said you had to read the whole thing to determine if you would rely on it.
On just this page, I don't know if you want me to continue on, if your question is this page, but this page, I don't have any, I wouldn't question this page.
Okay.
I would rely on this page. Do you want me to continue?
No.
Okay.
I just wanted you to read as long as you needed to determine if you would rely on it.
Well, the information on this page, if you're going to ask me questions on this page, I don't have any questions or concerns about this page.
Okay, and it indicates at the halfway or three-quarters to the bottom that a photograph was taken by Detective Parshall. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you know what happened to that photograph?
Well, I don't know what photograph he's referring to of the shoes. I know I've seen a photograph of shoes.
Well, if it indicates in the Quran that he photographed running shoes allegedly worn the night of the murder by Ms. Sementilli, would that photograph be, during the regular course of business of the LAPD, put into evidence?
It would.
I mean, put into, taken as property and booked as evidence or potential evidence in the case?
Your Honor, at this point, it's just hearsay.
That would be what I would do.
And then it would be, in the normal course of a prosecution, discovered to the defense. Is that correct?
Again,
This witness cannot answer that.
Do you know whether or not Exhibit 365, 625, got it close, is the photograph that was taken by Detective Parshall as referenced in the chronological record?
I do not.
And how would you go about determining, if it became relevant to your investigation, where the photograph of that shoe was?
I think that information would have to come from Detective Verna.
Well, would it not be booked into evidence as part of the investigation?
A photo?
Yes.
Taken by a detective? Not necessarily. Photos, individual photos like this, especially if these shoes weren't recovered on that day, would, I mean, for myself, I would print them out and place them within the murder book. It wouldn't be photos. We don't book photos typically as evidence. We place them in the murder book. Just like if a photographer from TSD came out, they take photos, we obtain those photos, and we put them in the murder book.
And the photo is there to document what was seen at the scene of the crime or some other location, right?
You talking about crime scene photos or whatever photos
Yes.
we take? Yeah.
This was a photo taken at the home of the Sementillis, correct?
I can object that assumes facts and not evidence.
Sustained.
Now, how would this photograph end up with the defense and discovery if it was not booked into evidence?
Again, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Do you know whether or not all items that are booked into evidence and are relevant to the case are turned over to the defense and discovery? Is that your normal course of habit?
Yes.
Object again, it's not.
The question was that her normal course of habit.
Yes?
Yes, that's the normal course that anything in the murder book is provided to the defense.
Okay. And if this was provided to the defense, would it mean that it was obtained by LAPD?
Not necessarily.
Would you would rely on the Quran record to determine where the photograph came from, wouldn't you?
Why object assumes facts and not evidence?
Sustained.
It also calls for speculation.
So let me repeat this question. If a photograph was taken of a shoe at a crime scene by LAPD, what would happen to that photograph during the normal course of business of LAPD?
Are you talking about like
Crime scene photographs, where do they go?
they go in the murder book? I mean, it's not that cut and dry because the question that I'm trying to interpret for you is there are crime scene photographers that come out and take official documented crime scene photos that go in, they store digitally, and then we take a digital copy of those and printouts and give them to the defense, and they go in the murder book. This photo, I think, is different because it wasn't obtained that way. I don't know how it was obtained.
Well, it indicates how it was obtained.
If that's the shoe.
Argumentative.
Sustained.
Okay? But if you took a photograph as a detective of an item at a crime scene for a reason that you thought was relevant to the investigation, where would that photograph go?
If I took a photograph that was relevant, that was deemed evidentiary, I would put it in the murder book.
And this page indicates that this photograph was put in a murder book, correct?
Object calls for speculation as to which photograph.
Sustained.
What agree, Coach?
So what you're saying is that to determine whether the photograph in the murder book is the photograph that we have here, you would need to talk to the detective who took it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The fact that it was turned over in discovery would not be evidence to you that it was taken during the investigation of this case?
Objection assumes facts, not evidence.
Also speculation. Sustained on that ground.
What would you do as the investigator if you wanted to obtain the photograph that is referenced in this Cron record?
Objection relevant.
I'll allow that answer.
Where would you look to find it?
Assuming that it's in the murder book already, I guess I don't
Well, you're saying
understand your question.
that's where it would be placed if it was taken, correct? It wouldn't be thrown away.
If
Object asked and answered.
Still rule.
if a detective, and I'm just speaking from my experience, if
Of
it
course.
was something that was relevant to the case and had value as far as evidence, yes, I would place it in the murder book, or if I was looking for something, I would hope that it would be in the murder book.
And when you say place it in the murder book, how is that done?
Take the photo, and well, how I do it is I take the photo and I put it in a protective sleeve, and there's a specific section within the murder book for photographs, and that's where I would put it. And I usually label mine with a title page of what it was, and I also put details about when and how I recovered it.
Okay. And that would be in the murder book, correct?
That's how I would do it, yes.
Well, you reviewed the murder book in this case, correct?
Yes, extensively, yes. There was over 220,000 pages, items within the investigative files, so yes.
I'm talking about the chronological record is not 227,000 pages.
No,
right?
but it's extensive, and I did review it, yes.
Which you would have to do if you were doing your job to see what happened on the case before you took over, correct?
Yes.
So if you wanted to find a photograph referenced in the chronological record, it would be attached to the murder book, correct?
I would hope that it would be in the section where photographs were, yes.
And if it was in some way maintained by LAPD, it would have to be supplied to the prosecution to supply to the defense in normal discovery, correct?
Object calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Are you required to turn over the murder book as well as the photographs that are attached to the prosecution and the prosecution of a criminal case that has been filed?
Yes.
And did you do so in this case for all the entries that you submitted to or were involved with?
I did.
And you reviewed all the ones that were done before you, correct?
Objection. Cumulative.
I'll allow this. Still rule.
Is that right?
Yes, I reviewed the murder book and the discovery receipts.
So, how did you go about locating the photograph that is described on this page of the murder book?
Same objection.
That's now to sustain.
Do you know where the murder book is now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it would be an assumption.
Well, how would you determine where the murder book is now? Would you have to consult with the detectives who are now the
active detectives on the case?
Yes,
Okay. And they would know where the murder book is, correct?
I would assume so, yes.
And they, hopefully, if you're saying, what you're describing has been done, any photographs that were taken during the course of the investigation that are mentioned in the murder book would be attached to the murder book, correct?
I would hope so.
Can you get a hold of the murder book or take possession of it now if you had to?
Objection, relevant.
Sustained.
So, as you sit here now, you have no memory of viewing a photograph described there as having been taken by Detective Parshall?
Objection, asked and answered.
Cool.
I have seen this photo before. I don't recall whether it was actually within the murder book or a digital representation of it.
And where have you seen it before?
I've seen it, of course, through the court proceedings. I don't recall whether I've seen it within the murder book or my digital copies of the murder book.
Does it refresh
seen
your
it before.
memory looking at the photograph to see if you viewed it before?
No, my memory of that is that I've seen it before, but I don't recall when. I mean, I want to say during the proceedings because that's the freshest in my mind. I don't have an independent memory of this particular photo.
No, I'm just asking.
Right.
One of the detectives in this case testified there still could be outstanding suspects in this case. You're aware of that, correct?
I'm going to object to relevant.
Sustained.
This murder book is kept in case it is needed in further investigations into this case, correct?
Correct. We never get rid of murder books.
Okay. You just said you just don't know where it is at this time.
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, I intended to seek the admission of the overhears we've been talking about through this witness. If the court would allow me to do so, then. Detective Roberts, you have testified previously as to the manner in which overhears were obtained and preserved by LAPD, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, several of them have been played, consisting of several hours of overhears have been played to the jury while you have been on the witness stand, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, we have isolated several overhears from the obtained by LAPD during the course of its investigation in this case, and we'd like to,
Objection to counsel testifying.
well, we'd like to play them at this time, Your Honor.
So the objection is overruled. I'll allow it.
May we do so?
Yes.
We just need Mr. Bob Patterson's computer.
We're waiting. They're adding that to remarks.
Your Honor, may we mark the clips from the 6/29/2017 over here? There's 7 clips as part of Exhibit 6. 632.
Well, that's part of 632.
And the transcript as defense next in order.
That'll be 639, and that'll be marked. You 100,000 times relating the transcript still applies.
In the past, there are several different clips, and we have attached the transcripts to each one.
Very good. I don't particularly need it right now, counsel, but sometime I didn't have to mark the copy.
Well, I hear stuff. I hear stuff
Roberts, the S on the transcript is the Sementilli and the B is Robert Baker, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Read the letter. No,
This is crazy. I don't belong here.
no, you don't. You absolutely don't. But neither one of us belong here. This is out of hand. It's out of hand.
Are we going to be behind that door?
Are we going to what?
Are we going to be behind that door again?
Yes.
So the media can't see us?
Yes. Are you trying to be off camera or on camera? I'm trying to be off camera.
you. Not the second one.
Huh? I know, man. Oh, are they gonna? Hopefully they'll give you a bail. I'm hoping they'll give you a bail. You've never done anything. You're a housewife. What the fuck are they doing?
I don't think this is being real.
Is that what they told you?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking A. Okay, baby. So we stick with the program, okay?
You just wait.
Okay. Yeah. Just stick with the program. Okay? I'm not going anywhere. I'll fight this shit till I can't fucking stand it no more. But before we can fight, we just gotta get all the information. We just gotta find out what the fuck's going on. It's gonna take a minute. So read my letters.
On the third overhear, Your Honor.
So just hang there, babe. Just be strong. I need you. Just like you need me. What's the plan for the girls? Are they gonna stay? They gonna move?
Depends what happens.
I hope they give you bail. If they offer you bail, are they gonna bail you out?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know.
Just the attorney fees are,
Insane.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen. But if I have to stay here, it'll be months and months.
I know. Trust me, I already know. You know, I'd rather for you to be on the street. So if there's a way to do it, you know, me, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I just want you to be okay. So hopefully, if they give you bail.
Nothing's okay about this. Not for me, not for you.
Say it again.
Nothing is okay about this.
Oh, I know, baby. You're right. I know it is. You're
It's not
right.
fair.
You know, especially for you. This is unbelievable. It's fucking believable. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I know they probably listen to every word. They're probably sitting right outside the door. For all I know, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. But it does matter. But so much stuff I wanted to tell you. I just gotta wait until the right time.
Okay.
Now the next overhear, Your Honor.
First things first. So I have plenty of paper, plenty of stamps. So I'm gonna be writing here, sending you shit. I'm gonna send you some stupid shit too to make you laugh. Did you laugh when I said the munch cake?
Yes.
I figured you'd die laughing. And so I promise to continue doing what I've been doing, and that is to cheer you up. Even from this fucked up shit, I'm still gonna do it. On everything I love. Okay?
Hey.
So you'll be fine. Just hang in there. I don't, yeah. I'm like you. I have no idea what the fuck's going on out there. I have no idea. Zero.
Now the next one, Your Honor.
I know you saw some of my acronyms.
Yeah. I use them too.
if you go, I know you well, so you can elaborate. You don't have to elaborate. You wanna, whenever I read your stuff and you read mine, read it. Just read it carefully. There's always messages for you.
I got them.
All right.
I got them.
Okay, baby. So, yeah, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out. All you gotta do is maintain. Maintain. Don't lose it. Maintain, okay? All right? You are brilliant.
Who did this to us?
I don't know, babe. I don't know. We deserve all this. But we're gonna make it. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna do it together. It's the only way out of this. The only way we can deal with this is get the info and work together and find out what the hell is going on. So yeah.
Now the next one, Your Honor.
I'm just telling you what they said. I'm not. We're not talking about anything about it. Yeah, I'm just telling you, what they said. That's the extent of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, anything else they said, they're lying.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
The final one, Your Honor.
Don't let anybody lie to you, baby. Don't let anyone lie to you. I'm all in. Always been. I ain't going nowhere. Sticking to what I said I would. And that is be with you and support you and be your best fucking friend. You hear me?
Yeah.
Alright. I ain't going nowhere either. Even under the worst, I'm never gonna drop the ball. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I got you. So, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm glad you told me about that other little thing. I'm glad. That makes sense.
I
Motherfuckers.
just want to see where this is going. Stop it. I want to see it. I can't see it or I won't read it.
Say that again?
I want to see where all this stuff is.
Yeah, me too. Me too. From what I've gathered, this is what I did gather from my attorney. They said that apparently the so-called DNA has been found as of 15 February. From what I read, from what was read to me.
They're all dated at the top, 6/29/17 over here with page and line numbers. Does that mean that it was recording conversations between Mr. Baker and Ms. Sementilli on June 29, 2017? Is that
Yes.
correct? Do you know where it took place, or does it tell you at the top of the sheet?
I believe this was
It says criminal courts building holding cell.
Yeah,
Would that be in this building and the holding cell behind the door there?
correct.
Does that mean that they were placed next to each other intentionally with microphones in order to record whatever they could concerning their conversations?
Yes.
And you don't know whether these overhears were previously played to us, parts of them or not previously, but these are accurate as far as they are to the best of your knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes.
Fine, I have nothing further.
Thank you, any questions?
Just briefly, the June 29th, 2017 recordings are actually from a lockup in the Van Nuys courthouse, correct?
I was a little confused. That's what I thought, but it does say at the top of the transcript that it's criminal courts.
This and the next one, the first two are from the Van Nuys Courthouse, is that right?
That's what I,
So actually, the transcript is wrong.
the top of the transcript is wrong, yes.
Your Honor, I have a search warrant attached to some records from LA Fitness. 6 pages in length. May it be marked as people's next in order.
286.
Showing you Exhibit 286. Do you recognize this set of documents?
Yes.
And what are those?
This was a search warrant for LA Fitness where Robert Baker was the coach.
The same LA Fitness where the defendant had a membership?
Correct.
And attached to that search warrant, is there a set of documents that were obtained from LA Fitness for when the defendant came in and had to log in with some type of an identification pass to get into the location?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Showing you the second to last page. Three lines from the bottom on this page. Do you see the date of the murder?
Yes.
January 23rd of 2017.
Correct.
And does it indicate that the defendant came into the gym that day at 11:49 a.m. consistent with the surveillance video?
Yes.
And does it appear that these were records that were obtained, again, pursuant to that search warrant that's attached?
Correct.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Anything further?
No, none of this would.
You may stand now. We have another list.
Can we record, please?
All right. Are there any further witnesses on behalf of the defense?
No, Your Honor.
We need to discuss the admission of evidence, which I'll do in the morning. Will there be any rebuttal?
No.
All right, for all intents and purposes, this case is done. I need to do some things with the attorneys. Argument will start tomorrow morning. The admonition applies that you're not discuss this case among yourselves with anyone else or form expressing opinions of the cause is when I submit it to you, which will be very soon. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow at 9.
Before they go, should they be instructed, reminded of the media and so forth?
You remember the instructions I've given you many times. No media. Don't look at anything. And don't do any research on this case or disseminate any information. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.